All right, Harley, you know this. We have so many people from coast to coast that reach out for help to grow their company.
Absolutely.
But as a consultant, we're a bad consulting firm. We're bad consultants if the people that we teach don't apply what they're learning.
Well, that would suck.
But when they implement what they're learning, it's an unbelievable thing to see somebody have absolutely epic success. Because you think about it, 96% of businesses fail, according to Inc. magazine, within just 10 years.
That's a sad stat.
It is a sad stat, but today's guests, they're doing very, very well, and that's why I'm excited for yet another edition of
Wins of the Week!
Doing the bull dance, feeling the flow, working.
You can do it!
Oh, yes, and yes. So, Harley, tell us who is joining us right here on today's edition of the Thrive Time Show on your radio and podcast download.
Clay, we are joined by two lovely people, Ronnie and Tina with Unleaded Design.
And why did you decide to have Ronnie and Tina on today's show?
Well, Clay, these guys, I've been working with them since the summer, about June for this year, 2020, and they have just been implementers, and I've seen a lot of great wins with their business as a fire sprinkler design services company.
So, Ronnie, welcome onto the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, sir. Thank you.
Hey, Tina, how are you? Welcome onto the show.
I'm doing great. Thanks, Clark.
Well, hey, let's go with this here first. So the company's called Unleaded Designs. Is that right?
That's correct.
Is there a web address that our listeners can go to check you out right now to make sure that you guys are in fact real?
Oh, yeah. uldfire.com.
uldfire.com. And, okay, so they go to uldfire.com. What exactly do you do? What services do you guys provide?
So what we do, we design fire protection systems for quite a few sprinkler companies who actually do the install. But we don't do that part. We just do the design only, and it keeps us pretty busy.
How did you get involved in the business there, Ronnie?
Oh, my father. I'm third generation, and he dragged me out of bed, said, "You're going to work." I was like, well, okay, here we go.
So where were you guys kind of stuck at before running into the consulting and kind of all the things we offer?
Well, honestly, we are word of mouth mostly. And
got it.
A lot of my clients I've had them for the last 17 years. Unfortunately, COVID hit, and we found a slow spot in this. And so we had to reach out, and we are in 12 different states. And I wanted to see where I can go with this.
And so, Harley, a lot of people reach out for help, or we, connect with them in some capacity.
Right.
But what makes these people so exciting to work with is they implement everything.
Yes.
So I'd like for you as a consultant, as a coach, just to kind of brag on what has made Ronnie and Tina such a joy to work with.
Well, what's made them, exactly to your point here, Clay, what's made them a joy is that they are very coachable to the systems, and they just implement the systems consistently. For instance, one of the first things we talk about, Clay, is the fact that you got to get Google reviews so you look awesome online to people that would want to work with you.
And so to get Google reviews, one, you have to do work that's not terrible, and I think a lot of people miss that part. You have to do work that's good, maybe do work that's even great, and then when you have work that's good and great, still though, Tina, you know this, by default, very few people think, oh, I had a great sandwich, now I should leave a review. Oh, I had a great fire suppression engineer guy come by my office. Hey, I had a good boating experience. I should leave a good review. Very few people think, oh, I should go leave a review. And so you have to call your current customers and ask them for objective reviews. On your team, do you do that, Tina, or does Ronnie do that? Who asks for the objective and sincere reviews?
Well, Harley assisted us at first with the first round.
Yeah.
And then we took, I built the list of our current customers and kind of branched out from there, just made this exhaustive list of who we could ask. And so then Harley took that information. He did the first couple, reaching out.
Yeah.
And then now we're actually taking that list and we're seeing who has left a review.
Yeah.
And then we're reaching out to them again a couple months later, not to push our luck, but, and as actually it's kind of wild. Like people are still leaving reviews and, even though, we're reaching out to them again, we're just kind of doing it at a different avenue, a different person, a different message, so we're getting more reviews. I'm not going to stop until we are we've hit our limit, which I don't know if there is one. So
now I want to ask you this here, Ronnie. I'm not asking you to share how much gross revenue you're doing on the show. I'm just saying in terms of like a growth percentage. Have you experienced some growth this year, or what are you seeing in terms of fruit?
Yes, we have definitely experienced some growth, and especially like I said during the COVID, which a lot of people were doing layoffs and furloughs and companies shutting down. We're a small company. I have 15 people that work for me, and we all work from home already. But seeing the growth that we have not stopped, and no one's been laid off, and I think this group has really helped us out, definitely.
Now, beyond Google reviews, that's one part of it. People always ask me, what's the most important part of the system? I think that's like looking at a car and saying, what's the most important part? I mean, if you take off the muffler, maybe it still works. If you take off maybe one wheel, maybe you can have an awkward drive somewhere. Maybe if you take off the steering wheel, maybe you could somehow figure out how to get there. But all of those parts work together. Let's talk about the Dream 100 system.
Yes.
Harley, what is the Dream 100 system, and how have the good folks here at uldfire.com gone about implementing that successfully?
Well, real simply, Clay, the Dream 100 system is if a company makes a list of 100 ideal and likely buyers that they want to do business with. They take the effort to proactively reach out through emails, phone calls, text blasts, even visits in person, mailers, just any in each way to get in touch with them. Because if they just got a fraction of those 100 people to work with them, it would mean a world for these businesses. And so with these guys, for Unleaded Design, they knew that they were in a very specific market where they're doing fire sprinkler designs for these fire sprinkler installers. And so we had to make these big lists and proactively reach out to these people because I don't know about you, Clay, but I look for sandwiches sometimes on the internet, but I'm probably not looking for fire sprinkler design services on the internet.
So you guys are out there having to go after the business. Do you do that, Ronnie, or does Tina do that?
Tina will set up meetings.
Got it.
And I will call them and follow up and meet with them and just chat about who we are and what we could do for them and how we can help their businesses.
Now, do you have kind of a flow where you kind of know, I mean, is there a certain number of calls you're trying to make per week at this point? Or
Yes, I think we're trying to hit at least 60 a week.
60 calls a week?
60 calls a week that Tina and my other assistant, Samantha, puts out. And then I probably hit maybe 5.
And again, I mean this in all sincerity. I mean this I'm bragging on you, but I mean this. I've had some great clients like MLK Dentistry, Margaret with that company. That woman is awesome at implementing the Dream 100. Yeah. She does such a great job. Andrew, your client, I think Tyler Hallblade there with the Primo trailers. Yep. He does a great job implementing the Dream 100 systems. But then there are some people that acquire the knowledge and they just don't implement it.
They just sit with it.
Tina, what is kind of, how would you describe, what is it within your organization that's allowing you guys to implement what you're learning? Because the story never gets old. We're so excited to hear it and to share about it. Tell us what makes you guys click and tend to be able to get these things done?
Well, I remember, I'll never forget, because I was definitely very timid about the Dream 100. I was like, no, not cold calling. No, don't do it. Right. I was very apprehensive. And I remember Harley looking at me across the table and said, Tina, you're not going to grow the business unless you do this. And I will never forget that because I'm like, you're right. So I was just like, we got to come up with an idea. How are we going to do this? Get our script together. And I have an assistant, Samantha, who helps me. She does these calls. She actually has the backgrounds for these kind of cold calling. So she has just been a rock star. And we work together in this. And we have created a process of, even after Ronnie makes the calls, we send out a small gift to the individual who gave us their time. Yeah. And we have a process. It is written down, and it is like this perfect oiled engine now that we do, and it is a weekly thing. We will never stop doing the Dream 100. I mean, we have probably 600 names now that we are reaching out to.
Now, in terms of the fruit, I mean, you guys are making progress. You're moving forward. You're gaining traction each and every day. But you also landed a big contract, and I'm not asking you to disclose who the contract is, but I think it's important that we give some teeth to the example. Ronnie, my understanding is you landed a pretty substantial contract of 100 properties or so recently. Is that correct?
We did. Actually, the gentleman called me up at 7:15 in the morning and said, got up looking for a sprinkler designer, and I got online, and you were the first person that showed up on the list. So I called it, and he said, I knew this was right because I'm from Oklahoma, and you guys are from Oklahoma, so we want you to join our team.
If you're out there listening, you know, the only reason that I started consulting clients back in 2006 is I would always run my company, djconnection.com, and I would just head down, run the company. And I didn't run around trying to sell my system and teach people my system. That wasn't my thing. I was running my own company, and people kept asking me. They're saying, "How did you grow your company? Could you teach me the moves?" And over time, I discovered a lot of businesses aren't succeeding. So I started doing research, and I started discovering. And Harley, you've seen the stats.
Oh yeah.
96% of businesses are failing, according to Inc. magazine. And so when I sold the DJ business, my wife and I got to talking, and I said, "You know what? We'll own core businesses. Let's invest in a few things. We'll get involved with the dental practice, and let's get involved with the dog training or different businesses.
Yeah.
But let's also reserve some spots with our team. Let's allow our team to help other clients. Because we already have a full-time team. So let's let our team help other people. That way, people don't have to go hire a full-time web guy or a full-time video guy or a full-time photographer or videographer. They can just use our team. And I think that's the power of the consulting we offer. There's consulting, yes, but on the back end, there's a support team. Harley, what services have you guys utilized there so far with Ronnie and Tina and their company, ULDfire.com? Are you doing website development or graphic design, or what all are you guys doing?
Yeah, so right off the start, we optimize their business listing on Google so that they could show up prevalently for this guy randomly searching in Oklahoma.
Yep.
We set up a website that's converting people to actually fill out forms.
Oh, a
for
website
their
that converts people.
It's crazy.
Talked to a couple today in the Northwest. They had spent over $25,000 on a website, never converts leads. And I looked at it right away.
Ew.
Right away, and I could just tell this is why it won't convert. Go to their website right now, folks. Go to uldfire.com to see a website that does convert.
Yes.
uldfire.com. Go to scoreball.com to see another client whose website converts. Scoreball.com. Go to mlkdentistry.com to see a website that converts right now. mlkdentistry.com. It is entirely possible to have a flashing, beautiful billboard of a website that no one ever sees.
Yeah.
Or to have a beautiful website that people see but that no one ever converts on. So, Harley, continue. What else have we been able to do to help these guys?
Yeah, so we recently just did an About Us video for the company that we'll be posting on the website
Well,
soon
if Ronnie's
here.
on, it's probably eye candy.
Yeah, it's definitely eye candy. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know that.
But yeah, we created a compelling About Us video.
awesome.
So if companies are curious about working with us, they can hear from the guy himself before making the call.
Well, I'll tell you what, final 60 seconds here. I'll go with you, Tina, first, and I'll go with you, Ronnie, so you can try to one-up her here. If somebody's thinking about getting consulting help, I think a lot of times we might think, I know when I first reached out to a consultant to help me growing my company, djconnection.com, part of me thought, I can do this on my own. I don't need any help. And then I got stuck in that doom loop for a while there. And then once I found some critical experts that helped me to sort of get out of the rut, what would you say, Tina, for anybody out there thinking about hiring a consultant with the team here to help them grow?
I think it's worth its weight in gold. I truly believe that finding Harley, finding his encouragement and kind of get in your face and accountability is priceless. It's the coach that we needed, and I want to tell you, for the first time, when we met him, I felt like the sky's the limit for our growth.
Right.
We're going to get as big as we want to get. Where before, because just relying on word of mouth,
right,
it's kind of exhausting.
It is.
It's very exhausting, and you feel a little limitless. And I feel like for the first time, like this is great. Like, we're going to be able to help a lot of companies. So many people don't know we exist, and now I feel like we have the tools to make it happen.
Ronnie, I think one of the challenges of being a coach is that Harley wants to do a great job. And he does a great job. But he also wants to respect that it's your company. It's your business.
Yeah.
It's you. It's the business that you and Tina are running.
Yep.
And there's that balance because you want to provide mentorship, but you don't want to overstep your bounds. How would you describe what it's been like to work with Harley?
How long is this show?
We have 7 hours. The first 7 hours, and after that, we do a hard cut.
Yeah, in the middle of it, we go into a hot tub.
No.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. Okay. I'm out. No, working with Harley's been amazing. He, when Tina first told me about this, I was kind of fearful because I own the company. I birthed this thing. I mean, I've been caring for it for 17 years. So, asking somebody else to get into my business and look at my finance, look at our processes, and then tell me that maybe I'm not doing it right. It was kind of scary. But dealing with Harley, he knows what he's doing. He really helped me out, and I've been able to release that fear, that stress or whatever, and it's been great. I mean, it really has. And actually, like Tina was saying, I don't know how far we can take this, but I do know now that I have the confidence that when I'm reaching out to these new clients that I've never talked to or seen in my life across the country, they're looking for people like us. And they had no idea about that. I thought it was all word of mouth. If you want to find me, you can, you get a reference from somebody.
It's powerful.
But let me tell you, I'm talking to a lot of clients, potential clients, and some of them we've actually are working for now, and it's been wonderful.
I tell you what, Thrive Nation, if you're out there today and you're thinking about, using the good folks at Redmond Growth or attending a Thrive Time Show workshop or hiring one of the coaches, I think we have to look at some facts for a second. We have to just take a sober look at it and say, all right, 96% of businesses fail within 10 years, according to Inc. magazine. Okay, we know that is a fact. We also know that scammers really try to avoid testimonials at all cost. Scammers never want to use case studies. Somebody who's going to scam you will never give references. And I would encourage you, do your research. Harley, that's the one thing. When you've been here, how long have you been working in the office now?
Just past 3 years.
You know that I lean hard on evidence and facts. I'm just constantly on case studies, examples, facts, case studies, examples, facts.
No feelings, only facts.
It makes it so much easier for us to say, hey, we have nothing to hide. Go look at the clients, look at these great people. And I would encourage you, seriously, go look at the success of ULDfire.com. Do the research. Look at the people. Look at the testimonials. And just say, you know what? Do they have something that I don't have? And I would say, if you look at it objectively, they maybe have a little bit more diligence than the average person. I'd say a little bit more coachability than the average person. But I think that's where it starts. And if you can just be humble enough to say, hey, I need help, and you can reach out, I really do know you can have a success story. And it never gets old, these success stories. And I just want to say, Tina, we are so excited for you guys, and you're just beginning this journey. And congrats to you, Ronnie. You guys are on a looking out for a great year. Yeah. And if you're out there looking for the services they provide, ULDfire.com. Again, that's ULDfire.com. And just rattle off for me real quick here, Ronnie. What are all the services that you guys do provide?
Well, we designed fire protection for many companies, and we have those drawings ready for fire marshals or AHJs. We provide the hydraulic calculations that you need to determine pipe sizes. We provide stock listings, surveying. We fly all over the place. So we will come out to your jobs and get you the best design we can get you.
Hey, guys, thank you for being on the show today. Hope you have a great rest of your week there, and I hope you enjoy your December.
Thanks for having me.
Take care. Andrew, on part one of today's show, we just celebrated the success story of some great thrivers out there. And now we're moving on to discuss how to not have your credit card fees frozen.
It's very important.
You never want to have your credit card fees seized.
No, you don't.
I'm telling you, folks, if you're out there and you accept credit cards, you want to do everything possible to make sure you never have your fees frozen. Because if you don't have any money, turns out bad things will happen in your near-term future. All this and more on part two of today's edition of the Thrive Time Show on your radio and podcast download.
3, 2, 1, boom! You are now entering the dojo of Mojo and the Thrive Time Show.
Thrive Time Show on the microphone. What is this? Top of the iTunes charts in the category of business. Drilling down on business topics like we are a dentist. Providing you with mentorship like you are an apprentice. And we go so fast that you might get motion sickness. Grab a pen and pad to the lab, let's get in this. It's time to bear some fruit like some Florida oranges. 3, 2, 1, here come the business ninjas.
Sonic Boom.
Yes, 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 and yes. Dr. Z, is always ecstasy when you are next to me. I have a quick question, sir.
I have a quick answer.
I'd like you to answer it for free if you're willing to. For free.
Well, I'll consider that request.
Have you ever had a situation with one of your companies?
Yes, I have. I've had several situations. Thank you for asking me.
We'll wrap
Let
up
me
today's
tell
show.
you a couple of my favorite situations.
Wrapping it up.
Oh wait,
Show's
you weren't finished with your question. I apologize.
Yeah, so there's more to it.
Have
you ever had a situation with one of your companies where the money that you charged a customer somehow did not make it into your bank account?
Yes.
And have you ever had it happen somewhat systemically for a period of time, maybe a week or two?
Yes.
Or a month, and you look and you go, wow, there's a lot of money missing in that bank account right now.
A lot, yes and no. But the first that pops in my mind, my receptionist had really good nails. I'll tell you that right now.
Incredible nails.
Incredible nails. The nails
That's
that were, very impressive nails.
And you're thinking, wow, this person
those
must
are
be
great
really
nails.
Getting their nails done often.
Often.
And how does this relate to money missing, sir?
Well, that's what she was spending the money she was taking from me.
Well, what I see a lot, and I say a lot, probably once a year, I'll talk to a great member of the Thrive Nation, and they'll say, Clay, have you ever had your credit card fees frozen before?
Frozen.
And I'll say, frozen? What do you mean? They said, well, I mean, it's
Like
like
the movie?
there's maybe $50,000 of my money that I don't have access to right now.
Uh-oh.
Because the credit card company is freezing my assets, freezing the money in the account. And that's what I want to talk to Kazra today about on today's edition of the Thrive Time Show. So, Kazra, welcome on to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Now, first off, just so people out there can look you up, where's the best website where people can go to right now to look you up, to verify that you are, in fact, a real human?
They can go to Kazra.com, K like kitchen, H like hello, AAZRA.com. I don't have one of those easy names, but Kazra.com is where they can go.
And so your company, you guys process over $1 billion of credit card fees per year, right? You process over $1 billion of credit card transactions per year. Is that correct?
Yep, absolutely. $1 billion in sales a year. Absolutely.
So tell us about this. How is it possible that a listener out there could have a business and they could charge, $30,000 of credit card transactions this month? Their customers pay them via credit card, and all of a sudden they get the funds seized. How could that possibly happen?
Wow, that's a strong word.
Seized.
There's so many different ways, but I'll just give you a couple of them really quick. It's a real problem, especially for businesses that are online. So it's really easy to go online today and, using some kind of template software, it could be Shopify, ClickFunnels, SamsCard, there's a ton of them out there, and just start a business, right? And that's what's promoted, speed, love, success, and they just start a business. And the high-risk payment aggregators like Stripe, PayPal, Square, and there's some other ones out there, they will allow you to start processing instantly, right? You could be, unfortunately, you could be selling children, you could be selling drugs, you could be selling anything. They don't care. I'm not saying they don't care. They don't know what you're selling, but they want you to get going. But if it doesn't meet Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover standards where it's card brand compliant, they're going to hold the funds. And there's algorithms that are used. So, hey, do you have, are you selling CBD? Boom, some CBD, and if they catch it, they're going to hold the funds. Are you selling a particular chemical in your makeup product that is considered toxic? Boom, we're going to hold the funds for that. Are you doing credit repair? Right, we're going to hold the funds for that. And so each institution has its do's and don'ts that they allow and that they will accept. And if you don't meet those, they're going to hold your funds. And there's really nothing you can do about it, because if you have not read the fine print, which most people, when they sign up for merchant applications or merchant accounts, they don't read that. They just get going. there's really nothing you can do about it. You can scream to the top of your lungs. There's nothing you can do about it because they are 100% in most cases within their rights to hold the funds because you are doing something that they don't allow.
Wow.
How often do you see this where somebody actually has their funds frozen?
Out of 10 accounts, probably 7.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, online it is. Now, let me step back. When you go to the high-risk payment aggregators where you can just set up a site like right away instantly without having to go through the steps of building that business up properly, 7 out of 10 times easy all day. What we try to do, and not to toot our horn, but it's so much of a headache. It's not even worth it for us. What we do ahead of time is we make sure that you're car brand compliant. We check your website. Do you have all the different checkpoints that are needed? You can go to Stripe today and say, hey, I got a high ticket program for $25,000. I saw a video with somebody. I took the course and they told me I should charge whatever I want to. So now I'm going to do it. And you start your business online and you get one sale, right? That money will be held because they can also go into your bank account and see, hey, how much money do you have? So you just sold something for $25,000, but you have $25 in your bank account. If there's a chargeback, who's going to be on the hook for that? They absolutely are not going to be on the hook for that. So, and the client, the customer who owns the car, they have to be taken care of. So they're going to hold the funds for that as well, or seize them, as you say.
Seize the day.
I bring this up because it's tragic when you see somebody that has all of their money frozen. I've seen this before. I've seen this multiple times. And all it takes really is an irate customer who starts claiming that you did something that you didn't do.
Right.
And it can get a little crazy. And now I want to get Josh's take on this. I'd like to get your take on this, Z, and then Aaron Antis' take on this. Because back in the day, let's go back to the 80s.
Back in the day.
In the 80s.
Def Leppard?
If a customer, Def Leppard, definitely. If a customer came in to your optometry clinic, Z, and they were 100% wrong.
100%.
You would try to take the high road and take care of them.
Absolutely.
Because it makes more sense for the business.
Right. I don't want to brick through my window.
Right.
Yeah.
However, that's kind of where it would be done. Once you did everything you could possibly do to serve them, if they were upset, that's kind of where it would wrap up because there's nothing else they could do. Now people go on Google, they leave a bad review. Then they go on Yelp, they leave a bad review.
Don't forget the bricks through the windows.
Then they
that's old school. Now it's trolling.
Because a lot of payments now are done via credit card. They can call up and go, hey, I never did get those glasses. And so my recommendation, I want to get everyone's take on this, but my recommendation is when possible, do everything in your power to make sure the customer's happy and don't leave the situation in a bad way because you do not want the credit card company to freeze your funds. It's just not.
You don't want to be the last one a crazy one is mad at. Just be the,
you don't
take that.
So I want to get your
Cause what is the statute of limitations on when someone can reverse a charge? I mean, is it they can call up and say 6 months?
No, it's not 6 months. That's a great question. And also, whatever that gentleman said before you about because I honestly, this is just my personal opinion. I believe that the majority of your chargebacks can be handled with great customer service. You're going to get a couple people in there who are just tire kickers and maybe want to buy your product and get something for free. But if you have great customer service, which most people do not, most people have the worst customer service. They don't answer the phones. They don't like talking to people. They don't even like people, period. And of course, card holders become angry, and then Amazon has everyone spoiled. You can order something from Amazon, get it today or within a day, and then your product takes 6 weeks, to ship from China. People aren't having that, right? And then you're not answering your phone, and you have people, unfortunately, in third world countries, there's your customer service that don't speak English. You're paying them like 10 cents an hour. It's just not a good look. But to answer your question, a lot of people think it's 6 months. So I'm going to give you a super good scenario. Unfortunately, it even happened with us. So we had some guys who were drop shipping. It's, mainly the drop shippers, right? We had some guys who were drop shippers, and they were setting up these stores where they would sell products online. and their chargebacks, especially during COVID, because they were, with China, you couldn't, ship anything or whatever. And they got, oh my God, sometimes 100%, like 100% in chargebacks. And so, when you do that consistently, consecutively, there's like nothing we could do. We gotta shut the account down, right? So when you shut the account down, their belief is, well, a lot of them want their money back right away. Now, here's the thing. They've already sold hundreds of thousands of dollars in product, but the customer has not received the product. But they have the money. They don't want to pay for chargebacks. So what they do is they shut their bank account down. Somebody has to be on the hook for the chargeback, which is why we have reserves for some people, right, or some businesses. So what happens is they're saying, hey, man, where's my money? We're like, you know what? No, this account has to sit there because a customer normally has 6 months to reverse the charge. Now, that's the normal case. You can always call your credit card company and say, hey, you know what? This is absolute fraud, even if it happened 8 months ago, right? You can't do that and say it was fraud. And they will look into it for you, and if they can reverse it, they will. But also, here's the other thing, and the reason why it's not just 6 months is, let's say we have people who opened up accounts September of 2019, right? I'm sorry, they were closed September 2019. This September, they're still getting chargebacks. So there's no way you can release any funds because literally, I'm not exaggerating. There's some people, the way they operate their business, because they've made their money, they've already bought their Gucci and their Louis and they're traveling all over the world, they bought these fancy cars. They're not trying to do anything else with that business. It's over for them. But their customers who bought the product are still creating chargebacks. So their funds could be held until the last chargeback comes through. So
yeah, Shake Weight hasn't been calling me back.
It hasn't?
Did they send you a new one?
6 months, it's like if you get a chargeback, then it just starts over for another 30 to 45 days.
And
so
you call that
on and on and on.
They call that a credit card reserve account. Is that what you're saying? Where they hold funds? What do you call that again?
No, so when you hold funds, they just hold it. You just wake up one morning and you find that your funds are held. A reserve is when you initially agree to say having a 10% reserve. So let's say you have $1,000 that comes out, of your batch, then 10% of that will be held and put aside for a reserve.
Kind of like my wife does with our funds.
The reserve.
Reserve fund.
Just in case.
Except there's no statutes of limitations on that one,
and
Aaron.
she's also held back my funds before.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa. Hey.
What are we talking about, gentlemen?
Real quick, I want to make sure Aaron a lot of people, they listen to the show, and it's audio only for many people, so they maybe mispronunciations. But Aaron said she often withholds my funds, no D.
My funds.
Whoa.
Yeah. That's what I heard.
And I was like, okay. All
Wow.
right, well, maybe we could.
Well, maybe you need a chargeback on that deal. I don't know.
we'll that's a separate show. That's Love Lines.
Yes. Yeah, that's
Love. Oh, this isn't Love Lines? I thought we were on Love Lines.
Go ahead, caller. Yes, so my lover withholds her funds, and I was just saying, and is it in the context of marriage, sir? Yes, it is in the context of marriage, and I'm just saying. Okay, so anyway, Aaron, let's talk about this real quick because nobody wants to have their funds held.
We're talking about money, Aaron.
Money.
Oh, sorry.
It's Shaw Homes when somebody's not happy because you can't make every single customer happy.
No.
How do you handle it at Shaw Homes? What's the
shovel
gold standard?
first, or what do you do?
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, we do blast.
Blast.
Yeah. So you're familiar with this, Clay?
Oh yes, it's the Chick-fil-A system. Believe, listen, answer, satisfy, trust.
Yep, exactly. And so, I mean, I
and
really
then shovel,
do.
blast is what we do.
Yes, I do want to know what the customer is upset about. Sometimes they come in upset about one thing. It's something totally different than that when you listen. So,
yeah, is this the Shaw Homes customer service line? Yeah, I've got
thank you for calling us.
I've got a rash. It's really starting to grow. My inner thigh, kind of there, my lower armpit.
Did you think that came from the paint odors, or what? Why
my bad. I thought this was my doctor's office. My bad.
No, you're fine.
No, but I really don't have that many customers that get upset. If they do, it's because we set the wrong expectations up front most of the time. Kazra mentioned customer service. I think customer service is about setting proper expectations. Most customer conflicts come from improperly set expectations. So if you set expectations up front adequately, you don't end up having a bunch of upset people.
And if somebody is a little bit upset, just as an example,
that is on point.
If somebody's a little bit off, a little bit upset, what we do is we BLAST. Step 1. Believe what they're saying from their perspective. Believe what they're saying is accurate. Listen to what they're saying. Seek to answer what they're saying. The questions is S. Try to satisfy. And then T. Move into that trust zone. Let's do that again, everybody. Now, someone's really upset. They call you and they say, "I want to rip off your face," and you say,
"I believe you.
I believe what you're saying is true." I want to tell me the problem. I want to listen to what you're saying. Say it. I want to find an answer for you.
I don't normally play this music.
I want to try to satisfy. I want to build some trust.
And there's usually not an echo either like this.
And if blast doesn't work, as I said earlier, I use blast plural, and then I have a shovel. And then I think, well, if that doesn't get her done, then we just come out with. So, Aaron, I got a question for you. How many of your homes are pre-sold before you build them? Just out of curiosity.
Well, this year about 90%.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. So they've got an expectation. They've got a picture in their mind. Go ahead, Cos.
Can I say something? You know what? Because he made a really good point.
Yeah.
And so the banks don't really touch online businesses for the most part, right? You have to be super established. And even when you do get an account with them, you will be restricted because the banks are super conservative. And I think that's one of the biggest issues with the quote-unquote marketers today is that they are selling things that they really can't do, right? They, you see the car, you see all the fame, you see the flash, but they don't, they may not necessarily tell you, hey, I had to work 10 years, 80 hours a week to get to this point, and people purchase their product thinking that, oh, if I just buy the product and do one thing, then I'll become an instant, millionaire tomorrow.
They overpromise and underdeliver.
Yeah. So, Kosra, you process credit cards. Walk me through this because I know the federal government passed some laws years ago that if you call up and say, hey, my credit card was stolen, as an individual, I had a credit card that got stolen, and someone ran up some bills on it. They went to Best Buy. They went to Walmart.
They went to all the places that I normally go and bought exactly what I normally buy.
But
Soaky chickens, pinion wood, a new chimenea.
Oh, yeah. A lot of pinion.
Could it be that Clay
and you call up and say it's fraud, and they shut down the card. They don't hold the individual responsible, but they hold the institute that has sent out the card, right? In other words, the bank
have changed things around. They switched the responsibility for sure because I guess the banks were eating that. They've definitely switched up the responsibility. But that's why we have chip cards now because it's pretty difficult to just steal somebody's card now with the chip card in there as well. And then it shows that hey, I went and bought groceries at 9, but at 9:30 at 9:30 that I have all this fraud. It's a little bit more difficult today. We also have software that can help with that as well. That can it'll have checkpoints where it'll show, okay, the card was used here by you with your cell phone next to it, and then at another 2 minutes later, it was all of a sudden stolen with your cell phone still close to it.
Kosra, I have a scenario I want to tee up. I have a scenario I want to tee up real quick here.
Fishy, Kos.
I want to tee this up because this is big. Somebody out there listening, you own a business, okay?
You own a business.
And imagine this scenario happens. Now, Kosra, just try to listen to what we have here. This is a powerful moment for listeners here, okay? All right, let me get the megaphone ready. Here we go.
Okay.
All right, guys, here's the deal. After we tear down the statues and burn everything, we're then going to go to KFC. All right, we're all going to KFC.
But don't burn it down until we get our dinners.
Right now, we got step one again. We're going to tear down the statues. We're going to burn down the stuff. We're going to burn down everything.
Tear down the statues. Tear down the statues.
Who burned the Wendy's before I got my Frosty? I'm pissed now.
Listen, I've got some valid payment devices here from some benevolent people. Somebody named Brenda Smith, Carl Thompson. I got some credit cards here I'm passing out for you guys. So remember, step one, pull down the monument.
Yeah.
Step two, burn down everything, but don't burn down the KFC. Here are some cards. Go buy.
And then you see these people coming in there. They're all dressed up like they're from Goonies or something, or like they're Darth Vader impersonators. They all show up there to rolling into KFC. And if KFC says to the Antifa member, they say, "Sir,
Luke,
are you in fact Daryl Johnson?"
Hell yeah, I'm Daryl Johnson. Give me my chicken.
I mean, if they don't check the ID, who's liable there? In those situations. If you don't check ID for Antifa.
That was a long way for a short question.
No, it was worth it.
It was
so worth it.
It's a real scenario.
I'm just saying, though, because I see a lot of business owners that are careless with checking ID. Who's responsible?
Yep.
So the credit card company would. So here's the thing. This is why we have the reserve as well, so that in situations like that, at least the credit card company is not on the hook as much. It's only like sometimes 5 or 10% reserve, but Stripe, they'll hold 25% or all of it, and this is why, because they don't want to be on the hook for something like that, right? It's just there's so many different scenarios that could happen,
You wait to burn down the KFC. He's in agreement.
Listen, folks, if Antifa comes into your restaurant, make sure to ID them. That's what I want you to get out of that question.
The whole thing there is that?
All of them. All 14 of you guys.
All.
Guys, get off your bikes for a second and come over here.
Come over here. Put your shields down.
Stop calling your moms.
Put your shield down.
Stop calling your mothers.
You're going to have to leave that Molotov cocktail outside. I'm sorry, sir.
Oh, this one? Okay, I'll put it over here.
But I think Z said that we're good, though. They're not going to burn down the Wendy's. Like, we can still get our Frosties.
Well, they did in
Atlanta. They did already. I mean, they did. And that's what I'm so upset about.
Let me say this, though, too. We had a company that had some fraud. Matter of fact, a few times. A company in Orlando. So they got these orders for I forget what they sold, but I think it was like maybe $10,000 a pop for some kind of physical device, some kind of machinery, and they got super stoked, and they sent out the equipment. I think it was like $30,000 worth of equipment. They didn't check; they were just happy they got to sell. They sent out the equipment, right? Right now, it happened to be fraud. Luckily for us, they paid for it. But they were out of the product, and they had to pay for it as well. So basically, what cost 30 really, when they thought they made 30, they really had to pay 60.
Ouch.
But if they didn't pay for that themselves, and they weren't like a reputable company or honorable, let's say, then we'd have to pay for it.
Now, some action items. I want to make sure everyone gets these action items here. One, if you are thinking about taking credit card payments online for the first time, compare with a few different companies and see, make sure you're compliant. Make sure you're checking all the boxes.
Make sure you're compliant. Well, Cosner helps make sure you're compliant.
Cosner, you help make sure people are compliant. What's the website if people want to get a hold of you?
Workwithkaz.com. Workwithkaz.com.
Workwithkaz.com is where you go if you want to work with Kazra, if you want to learn more about credit card processing. And if you don't want to work with Kazra, but you just want to learn about something irrelevant, go to notalentaskclown.com. Notalentaskclown.com. You'll go there. It will not any way, shape, or form help you.
Does that take you to the Biden website, or where does that take
you? Don't get into it. Don't make this political. I'm just saying, if you go to notalentaskclown.com.
This is a business podcast, for goodness sake.
Okay, so Josh.
Yes, sir.
So again, we've talked about that. What can cause you to have your accounts frozen?
Yeah.
We've talked about what you can do to prevent that.
Did you say what can cause you to have your account?
Whoa.
Freudian slip.
Oh.
It's a miracle.
Cause isn't running around freezing all these accounts. He's a good guy.
No, man, not me.
Josh,
wow, that's what I'm
final
saying.
question do you have?
Was it me?
So I'm gonna fire away with the 2-part question, Cos. So first and foremost, for Aaron and some of our other listeners out there, whenever your wife is withholding the FUNS, the funds, do you have any great advice for that, Cos?
Yeah, man, I'd say
wow.
You pray,
just for you, Aaron.
Buy as many flowers as you can.
Oh yeah,
maybe
flower up.
Some of the entertainers do. Buy a super expensive ring or something like that at the same time.
Super expensive.
Yeah, if I could chime in for you a second, you want to get yourself some honey butter?
I'll tell you what.
And you just want to. I'm just messing with you.
So the second part of that question, Cosra, would be, we discussed this a couple weeks ago, but how often would you encourage our listeners out there to review their credit card processing fees? Like, how often would you tell somebody to go look at what they're paying and how much they're paying for interchange rates and all that good, exciting, super, super, super fun stuff?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say at least once a month. At least once a month. I know some of our sole proprietors out there, it's just a 1-man, 2-man show. They may not have the time,
Yeah.
but I say at least once a month for sure, 100%.
And then what you want to do is you want to get some honey butter
you
out
wanna-
there, and you just want to
get a
you just
costume dressed up as a bear, put a lot of honey on it.
That's how you fix the funds.
Just
Did
all
you say as
over.
a pear, Dr. Zell?
A bear?
A bear, okay.
That's why honey.
I thought you said a pear, P-E-A-R. Sorry.
It's kind of sticky, but
there's a major company out there that's been around for a while. They're pretty big, and across the board, they implemented a program where the base is 5%, and they put a reserve on several different industries. And they don't have to necessarily send you out an email, even though I think they did that as a courtesy. But some companies, and there's some major ones out there, I don't want to mention their name, they have attorneys for days, but they will put the update to the additional fees in an agreement online. And you just have to kind of know that they updated the program.
Uh-oh.
That's not good. Now again, folks, if you're out there today and you find yourself in a situation where someone you're married to is withholding the funds, you just want to get yourself some honey butter right there, and you just want to just kind of.
What do you do with it? What do you do with that honey butter?
This ain't a show for that kind of thing, Dr. Z. I'm just saying that step one, you get the honey butter.
Okay, well, I got the honey butter now. Step 2, I'm waiting.
Check first if she has an Adam's apple.
No
and we're back to that.
And we're back to business. It's business time, all right. It's business time.
Nobody said that on the last week's show. I didn't know that. That was a good tip now. Now it's gotten awkward. So step 1, check for an Adam's apple. Then step 2, you get that honey butter. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Kazra. Thank you so much. His
Work
website is
with cause.
Work with cause. Because.
Appreciate you guys, man.
Oh.
Appreciate you guys big time.
Take care, brother. Have a great day.
Go make it happen,
Okay,
cause.
you guys too. Take care now.
All right.
Okay, I will.
And then you want to get that honey butter.
Oh, yeah.
You just want to flip it on down and slap it and just. Okay, we're going to wrap up today's show.
Really, we are. I got a feeling you got one more in you. One
right,
more
here we
pass.
go.
You got one
Running
more
low
pass.
on Dayquil there. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom. And then you want to get that honey butter.
I knew it.
And now, without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom!
Boom. Boom.